not. Sorry that you're not. Sorry that you're not.
Hello and welcome back. Another edition of the Win Big Sports Betting Sports Talk Podcast. I can't believe it. It's Saturday morning. College football kicking off in just a couple of hours here. Thanks for joining us. WBSNSports.com is our content page to sponsor the podcast and be a part of it. At WBSNSports.com, you can find up-to-the-minute highlights, rumors, and news. Be sure to find us on social at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at WBSN Sports. Big thanks to our radio partners for carrying the podcast, 96.9 Fresh Air Radio, 105.3 Power Radio, and Heartland Newsfeed Radio Network. Be sure to follow along with them, and again, big thanks to them for carrying every edition of the Win Big Sports Talk Sports Betting Podcast. Let's get started. College football picks. The first one is a fun one. Noon Eastern time kickoff, so not long to wait for this. The Georgia Bulldogs are at Vanderbilt. It's First Bank Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. You can watch it at 12 Eastern time on CBS. Tickets as low as $84. The Bulldogs, they're expected to dominate against Vandy. And I love Vandy, but push it away. The Bulldogs have been unstoppable on offense. They're averaging over 500 yards per game. That's why I'm taking them. Bulldogs are the favorites. They're the favorites by over 30 points. There's just no way Vandy's going to overcome that. Georgia Bulldogs are winning game one this week. Indiana, Michigan, 12 Eastern time kick. You're at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan. You can watch it on Fox. Get in the door for $80. Michigan's offensive performance is at 414 yards per game, so really strong, similar to Bulldogs or Georgia. Kind of that same clip. They're dominant. Michigan is the obvious pick. I don't see any way that Indiana could pull out a win in this. I think that's a safe one to bet the spread on Michigan. And Ohio State and Purdue, the Boilermakers playing host. Watch that Peacock 12 Eastern time kick if you want to tune in. It's at Ross-Ade Stadium in Indiana. Ohio State has shown a more potent offensive capability. They've been really good this season. Their defense is great. Purdue is just not nearly the same level of play as Ohio State. This is all Buckeyes all day long. I think they're a safe bet. I would take them on money line to get that. Syracuse, it's the Orange at Florida State battling the Seminoles. Get the door for $20 for this one. 12 Eastern time, can't watch it on ABC. They're excited to get the stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. Both teams have been really good this season. They've had flashes of brilliance. 198 points for Cuse through 6 games. It just doesn't matter. I think Florida State is going to contain them defensively. The Seminoles are going to continue to do what's made them so successful early on this season. They're going to roll on through a win and head into Week 8 feeling great. Arkansas at Alabama. The Razorbacks. Oh, it's a fun one. It's not probably very fun if you have to play in Bryant-Denny Stadium for anybody. 12 Eastern time kick. Watch it on ESPN. That's right, the big boy. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And you can get in the door cheap for this one, believe it or not. $37 to get tickets to this. Bama's the obvious pick. I'm not going to go into it. You know why? If you're going to bet on it, I kind of like the over in this, actually. I really like the spread, and obviously the Bama money line is always a safe one. Cal, Utah, Golden Bears on the road, battling the Utes, 3 p.m. Eastern time kick if you want to tune in. Watch it on the Pac-12 network. They're in Salt Lake City, Utah. California has been really good this season. They're doing a lot of things really, really well. I just don't see Utah coming away with a victory in any scenario in this. Cal money line is safe. The over is appealing, but I wouldn't bet it if it were me. UMass and Penn State. Massachusetts. The Minutemen. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time kick. You can watch this on the Big Ten Network as they duke it out in Beaver Stadium in University Park, Pennsylvania. Get in the door. Tickets as low as $34. I love it. I love it. Set up way up top. Have fun. Penn State's going to come through with a victory. They're averaging over 400 yards per game, 430 to be precise. Texas A&M, they're at Tennessee, having to travel up to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Watch it at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. To even get in the door, you're going to have to shell out $193. That's the cheapest ticket you can get right now. I mean, that's expensive. Just to get in the door, $200. Tennessee's the obvious pick. They've averaged a ton of points this season. They're over 213 points scored through 6 games. Big Orange has been really good the last couple of years. They're going to continue to roll. I like Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is having a great year. I don't think they're going to beat Tennessee in Tennessee. Kansas and Oklahoma State. You can tune in at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. Battling it out in Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Tickets as low as $20. Come on, you can watch the Jayhawks and the Cowboys for $20. Just 117 points over 5 games for Oklahoma State. And that's just nothing. I mean, they've had very flat offensive production. We're talking 350 yards per game. And in contrast, the Jayhawks 433 per game, yardage-wise, 218 points over 6 games. It's all Jayhawks. Easy victory, easy money. I like the money line in that for Kansas. I'm a big fan of, I like the spread too. I think Jayhawks got that handled pretty easily. Louisville and Pittsburgh. This is a night game. First night game of this episode of the podcast, this edition. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW Network. Watch it at Acrisure Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Get in the door for $30, where tickets start at $32. Louisville's the pick. I'm not seeing a lot happening for Pittsburgh in this one. Pittsburgh's having a good season. Louisville's the favorite. I think Louisville's the safe pick in this if you want to bet on it and take the money line. Arizona, Washington State, AZ. Washington State, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Pac-12 Network. We're in Pullman, Washington. You can get in the door for $15. Are these the cheapest tickets this week? Those are the cheapest tickets you can get to a big-time game this week. Somebody's going to prove me wrong. Somebody's going to fact-check that on Twitter. From what I can see and from my notes, those are the cheapest tickets you can have. That's worth flying out there, right? I mean, you might be able to get a flight to Pullman, Washington, and get in the door for $15. That's good savings. Washington State is electric this season. 470 yards per game, 200 points in 5 games. Zona can't handle. Zona can't hang. I'm going with Washington State's Cougars. Okay, this is at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 7 p.m. Eastern Time kick. Watch it on ESPN. It's LSU hosting Auburn. Well, I really want to pick Auburn in this. And Auburn's done a lot of things well this season, and they're looking better, but just look at the numbers. First of all, LSU, 550 yards per game, 330 passing. 269 points in 6 games is wild. Auburn, to contrast, almost 200 yards less per game. Almost 200 yards less passing per game. And 269 points for LSU, 148 for 5 games for Auburn. There's no way you can pick Auburn. I want to pick Auburn. I like the Tigers, but yeah, Bayou Bengals got that handled, signed, sealed, delivered. That one's done. USC and Notre Dame, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time kick. You can watch it on NBC and Peacock. It's at Notre Dame Stadium in Notre Dame. Okay, USC has had a great offensive season so far. They're the favorite. All the experts are picking them at 311 points over 6 games. I'll take Missouri the obvious pick, I think, on paper. Missouri is the favorite, too, on top of that. I like the money line. I like the over in this one. And I like the spread for Missouri. I think Missouri's got that covered. I like Missouri's Tigers. They're having a good year, and I just all around like Mizzou. So maybe I'm making a bad pick because of that. But that's the way I'm leading. Take it or leave it. UCLA and Oregon State. I didn't pick on this, I guess. I'm just lying to you. That was just a lie. Let's skip that entire game. My pick on it is UCLA. That's all I'll give you. NC State at Duke, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch it on the ACC Network. They're at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. You can get in the door for this one, $35. What do you got going on Saturday that's better than a $30 college football game? That's awesome. Duke, they've got a 77% chance to win, according to ESPN. I think they've been better. I think they've got this handled. I wouldn't bet on this if it were me. Unless you're determined to bet on this, then the money line on Duke is what I would recommend. Otherwise, I'd say just don't bet on that one. That's not a great one to bet on. All right, that's going to do it for our first window of picks for college football. We'll take a short break. When I come back, we'll have NFL football picks right here on the Win Big Sports Network. Network, Win Big Sports Betting Talk Podcast. Gabriel Fry here. I've got all your picks. We're getting into our NFL football picks, predictions, and more. Let's get started with, a 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning game. Watch it on NFL Network at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. You can get in the door for $79 if you don't mind flying to Europe and you have your passport. Highly favored Baltimore. They're expected to dominate against Tennessee. Ravens have been great on offense. They got a balanced attack, 189 pass yards per game, 146 rush, and 109 points over 5 games, way overshadowing Tennessee's Titans. I want to pick the Titans. I live in Tennessee. I want to pick the Titans. I can't. That's all Baltimore. Usually I go against the grain and pick teams like that. There's like 3 or 4 teams I just pick anyhow. I'm not even going to pick them for the fun of it. That's where I'm at on that. Washington Commanders, they're at Atlanta Falcons, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch it this Sunday on CBS, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Get in the door for $37. Can't beat that. Falcons have a 2.5-point advantage set against the Commanders. They've got a moderate game total of 42 points, an average of 316 yards per game. I think that a balanced offense from both teams might lead to a close game, and you could see a shootout, so the over could be a good pick here. Atlanta is the pick to win. I like them on the money line. I think the over would be an interesting bet, but I don't know if I'd recommend betting that way. Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears. Watch it at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. They'll play at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Highly favored Minnesota is expected to outplay, outdo, and outshow Chicago. The Vikings have been prolific this season, one of the best in the league. They've scored 110 points over 5 games. Vikings the pick. You can't bet against the Vikings in this. I don't care if you're a Bears fan. Windy City, you gotta calm down. 1 p.m. Eastern Time kick on CBS Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. Get in the door for $137. This is an easy one. Cincinnati's hometown advantage is the only reason I'm going to pick them. It's a 3-point spread. The Bengals have the advantage, and I think the hometown advantage is really what's going to make the difference. Whether or not it does, obviously, remains yet to be seen, and just based on the way I'm going about that, I think you should know. Probably wouldn't bet on that, but that's where I would go if I was going to bet on it. San Francisco 49ers and Cleveland Browns, 1 p.m. Eastern Time kick. Watch it on Fox this Sunday. Cleveland Browns Stadium, Cleveland, Ohio. Did you know that stadium is right on the water? Like, that stadium there's like 20 yards between the backside of the stadium and Lake Erie. I don't feel like I ever knew that. Like, I knew it was not sure what your goal is here, but he's here, and I'm going to pet him while I do this. Highly favored Miami, expected to dominate against Carolina. The Dolphins have been unstoppable with an average of 513 yards per game. A balanced attack, 320 pass yards, 185 rush yards, 181 points over 5 games, overshadowing Carolina. Miami Dolphins through the pick. It's an obvious one. That's what I'm going with. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch it on CBS, Everbank Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida. Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville Jaguars. You can get in the door for this one. You ready for this? I think these are the cheapest NFL tickets. If they're not, they're one of the very cheapest. $33. Jacksonville's got a 5-point advantage. I just don't see. Indianapolis hasn't been bad this season, and there's a bright future there, but the Jags are the pick. Like the money line, like the spread. Don't really like the over, but I like it. I like the Jags. That's what I like. New Orleans Saints at Houston Texans, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox at Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas. The Saints, 2.5-point advantage, slightly favored against the Texans. They've done really well this season, and the last couple weeks they've been especially good. So just based on that, they're hot. They're going to stay hot. Take the Saints if you're betting on that one. New England Patriots and Las Vegas Raiders, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. Tickets are expensive in their games. $200 is the absolute cheapest to get in the door. The Raiders are favored by 3 points, and the Patriots are who just lost to the Saints, and the Saints have been hot. Like I said, I think that's going to be demoralizing, right? I don't care if they're professionals. It's tough to lose and then bounce back right away. They're already not the favorite. Vegas has the hometown advantage, literally in every sense of that, right? Like, you're in Vegas, baby. I think Vegas takes that one. It will be a close game, though. It'll be a close game. Arizona Cardinals and Los Angeles Rams, 4:30 Eastern Time kick. Watched on Fox. They're at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. You can get in the door. Hey, there's another cheap one, $33. Highly favored LA. They're expected to dominate against Arizona. The Rams have been strong on offense, led by former Georgia Bulldog Matt Stafford. 112 points over 5 games, overshadowing the Cardinals. LA's my pick, and I think they're going to do it all on that one. Philadelphia Eagles and New York Jets, 4:25 Eastern Time, Fox. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Highly favored Philly is expected to soar over New York. The Eagles have been dominant on offense this season. 404 yards per game, a balanced pass and rush attack, 141 points over 5 games. Way overshadowing the Jets. I don't see any way New York fights their way out of that bag. Philly's a pick. Detroit Lions at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 4:25 Eastern Time on Fox. Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay, Florida. Detroit favored by 3 points, expected to capitalize against Tampa Bay and let the world know we are the real deal. The Honolulu Blue has been on fire this season. 148 points over 5 games. They might slow down. This could be their cool game, right? They can slow down against Tampa. Tampa's no slouch, so every game is a tough test. This is the National Football League, but that being said, Detroit's the pick. Jared Goff coming out, all cylinders. The local boy to me, Jahmyr Gibbs, playing tailback, Dalton, Georgia. Detroit's the pick, though. Easy one for me. New York Giants at Buffalo Bills. This is the Sunday night game, 8:20 p.m. Watch it on NBC. Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. Tickets are expensive, $145. Highly favored Buffalo, expected to triumph over New York. The Bills have been strong on offense, 390 yards per game, which is crazy for the NFL. 159 points over 5 games, overshadowing New York and the Giants. Buffalo Bills, they're the pick. Bills Mafia. I feel like I shouldn't have said that. Don't put me in Bills Mafia. Thanks. 8:15 Eastern Time, ABC, ESPN. Monday Night Football. It's at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, as the Dallas Cowboys are going to battle the Los Angeles Chargers. This will be closely contested. Dallas favored by 2 points against Los Angeles. They've been really competitive on offense. They've had a great year so far. 134 points over 5 games. It's a high-octane offense, and it'll be a high-octane showdown against Los Angeles out in California. Dallas is my pick. I'm going with the Cowboys. They are them boys, I guess would be my joke. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of the Win Big Sports Talk Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Gabriel Schreib. For real, thanks so much for being with us. And you can learn more about the podcast, get in touch, and sponsor us at WBSNsports.com. rumors, news, and more. Be sure to follow us on social media at WBSN Sports. That's WBSN Sports, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'm at Schry Guy, SCHRAYGUY. You can also follow us wherever you tune into the podcast, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Anchor FM. If you're with one of our radio partners, be sure to give them a follow. 96.9 Fresh Air Radio, 105.3 Power Radio, and of course, our Hood Newsfeed Radio. I'm Gabriel Schry. Good luck this week. Don't make any dumb bets, and don't bet a ton of money on something because I told you to, because I bet like $5 on everything. I'll see you next week, and enjoy the games.
Felt this free, like I am you and you are me. It's such a